with that, I would like to bring up a legend in his own right. A guitar legend who has played the world over. And I would actually like to get him up to say a few words. Mr. Boom Boom himself, Mr. Pat Travers.
All right. This 56 brings back a lot of memories. I was really surprised when it came out. I didn't think it would affect me that much. When I was about 5 or 6, I'm from Canada originally. We lived in northern Ontario in a little town named North Bay. And when I was about 5 or 6, I'm pretty sure it was around Christmas time, and my mother's brother, my Uncle Henry, we call him my Uncle Hank, he is and still is a guitar player. He's almost 80, and he still plays sessions and gigs. And he came over, and he had a 54 gold top Les Paul with a Bigsby Tails piece on it and a little combo amp. And I just, you know, seeing this gold thing, that was just incredible. And then, you know, playing it. So that's the first time I ever saw an electric guitar at all in person, and seeing a Les Paul. So eventually we moved from there to Ottawa, Ontario, where my Uncle Hank lived and had a music store called the Blue Note on Bank Street. And, you know, I wanted to play, and I wanted to be a guitarist, and I worked at his shop on Saturdays, and then started my own band. But I didn't have my own electric guitar. I used to borrow them. This was ridiculous. My uncle owned a music store, and I didn't have my own guitar. So finally, when it was just around my 15th birthday in April, and I talked my mother into borrowing some money from the bank, getting a loan, and co-signing on a loan, and I got a 1968 gold top, just like that, with P90s, and that was my first electric guitar when I was 15. So that was pretty cool, and unfortunately, about a year later, I was already starting to play in bars, and we were playing at a bar in Hull, Quebec, and it was about 3 o'clock in the morning, and it was in the winter, and it was cold, and I wanted to go, and went out to the car, and the other guys didn't follow, and I leaned my case up, which was my uncle's 1954 case, by the way. I bought the guitar, but I couldn't afford a case. He let me use his case, and it got stolen. I went back in, came out 5 minutes later, and it was gone. I was so upset. They took me home to my mommy, and about 4 o'clock in the morning, and I knocked on the door, and my mom's, sweetie, what's wrong? I'm like, I can't talk. And I really did break down and cry. And so I said, right, I'm never going to let another guitar get in my heart. I'm just not going to stop. I've been beating the crap out of them ever since. But and I've seen a lot of really nice Les Pauls, and been lucky enough to play. Well, Ted Nugent, when we were doing a show with Ted, and I only had one guitar with me, my Les Paul, my double cutaway, which was made in Kalamazoo, where Jeff DeHollander worked. And I broke a string, and Ted's tech said, all I got's this 59 Les Paul. Don't tell him you're using it. And I went, okay. And I broke a string on that, or something happened. I forget what. Anyway, Ted had it. He says, oh, yeah, it was in my basement. I didn't even know I had it. So he's got like this 59 Les Paul that's, you know, probably worth $250,000. And then not too long ago, we saw Cheap Trick here in town, and Ricky Nelson, he loves to come across the stage with every one of his Les Pauls and go, you want it? You know, you want it? He's got about $2 million worth of guitars in the first 5 songs that he plays. But they are just, I don't know, there's something about them. Don't ever drop them, because they'll break. Which everybody knows. My double cutaway broke there 5 times. So anyway, but they're wonderful guitars. I think some people find them a little, you know, if you really want to tear into it, you know, you could put as much muscle as you want into it, and it actually does get louder, and it's unlike some other guitars, you know, they make Fenders, you know, they have a limit, but Les Paul is the most powerful guitar ever made, definitely. And can I play this thing for a little bit? That would be great.